I'm Malia Russell with Homemaking 911, and one of the current problems that I hear people talk about the very most is grocery budgets. So I started to think about all the different ways over many years that I have developed a grocery budget that works for our family, and then the things that we've done to decrease the grocery costs so that we can get the best bang for our buck. One of the things that I learned, 40% of all the food in America is wasted. So that doesn't necessarily mean from my kitchen is wasted. It could mean it's wasted in production or wasted in shipping. But nevertheless, once I heard that, my heart was set on reducing our personal food waste in our family, because I could see where on trash day I was taking food out of our fridge that I had purchased and sometimes throwing it away because it had gone bad or gone off or nobody wanted it, or we just had too much of something. Usually we talk about reducing food waste by having a meal plan. Any meal plan at all will help your food budget versus going to the store, just grabbing the things that look good and coming home and then trying to figure out how to use them. So any time you spend on meal planning will really help your family. However, this is a specific way that I helped reduce the garbage going into our trash can from our fridge. So the first thing I usually do when I'm making our meal plan is go through, open the fridge, and look at everything that could go bad. And when I did this week, when I was looking through our groceries that were in the fridge, I saw apples, I saw those little cuties, I saw some salad leftovers, some green beans, like a single portion of green beans, couple of servings worth of refried beans. I saw some fresh carrots, one fresh zucchini, one squash, small bag of little tomatoes. And then I looked into my pantry and I could see that I had opened rice and tortilla shells. So I jot those things down on my list, and then from there I start to build out my grocery list. So based on what I had here, and I also have a cheese drawer where I have cheese, I immediately knew I could have a taco night with very little things added. So I also had homemade salsa. So I can make homemade salsa if I need to with some canned tomatoes if necessary. So immediately the first thing on my meal plan is going to be tacos. But I want to look at the days of the week and see, okay, which night would be great to have tacos, because tacos requires a little bit of like right now we're going to chop things, we're going to shred things, we're going to get them in the meal. So I can see that that'd be a good meal to have on Wednesday. So I'm just going to write down tacos. Now, I did notice that we didn't have sour cream in the fridge. So to my grocery list, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to say sour cream. We like that with tacos. The next thing I noticed is that we had a lot of little bits and pieces of vegetables. So I have a couple of options with those. And here's how you get to the zero waste. I could have a night where I prepare a main dish like chicken and then take out all the vegetables and put them all out, heat them up, and everyone can kind of a la carte pick their food that they like the best and make their own individual plate. That's one way we can do it. Another thing I can do is to make a plan around those leftover vegetables. So I could say, well, if I have corn and green beans and something else, I can combine those up into a soup, or I could take the corn and add it in with my Mexican night and mix it right in with my tacos, or I could actually take the time to preserve those leftover items. So half of a cup of green beans and a half of a cup of corn, I can drop them into a little container that I keep in the freezer, and that container would be marked veggies for soup, and then I can just throw in any leftover bits of vegetables that we have. The next time I wanted to make a vegetable or chicken noodle soup or whatever, I literally can just open the container, dump whatever's in there into the broth, and continue cooking the meal, therefore using up things that would probably have gone to waste in the past. The other thing that really helps when you're doing an inventory is to see things that aren't moving. So for example, we bought apples. Well, those same apples had been in the fridge for 3 weeks. So I'm going to actually add that to my do not buy list that I keep in my phone. Do not buy. So whenever I'm going to the grocery, I'll check that list. I use that for other purposes too, like when I've stocked up on something and it's in a different part of the house, but we'll talk about that another day. So you can add things to your do not buy list that you can see are just sort of sitting in the fridge longer than they should, but also make a plan with it. For example, we bought a ton of eggs one time, and I could see that we weren't getting through them very quickly, so I pulled out the eggs, I pulled out whatever leftover vegetables we had, I fried up some sausage, I put them all in a pan together, baked it for our breakfast thing, sliced it into 12 slices, and I put those slices into the freezer frozen, and then my son can pull one out for breakfast each day. So those are just some of the things that we do to keep our grocery costs at zero waste. The other thing I do is after I've gone through my fridge, I'm going to look into what I keep on the side, like potatoes and onions and garlic are not in my fridge or in my pantry, and I'll add those into the meal plan. So I saw this week that I had a bag of potatoes. I had maybe 6 or 7 potatoes left. So I'm gonna go over here on my menu plan and write baked potatoes. Now I might have baked potato bar, which would be like a whole, like it is the main course and you add on other things. Or I could just use it as a side dish. So I know in my freezer I have chicken, so I'm gonna put down chicken and baked potatoes. I already have sour cream because we already added that to the list for another meal. I know I keep some canned green beans. And then I think I am gonna just use up those leftover vegetables as part of that meal. So now I've got 2 complete meals marked onto my menu plan. The only thing I've added to my grocery list so far is tacos. So now I'm gonna look ahead and say, okay, that's gonna use up all my tortilla shells. I still have rice in the fridge, so maybe I'll do a rice and chicken dish. So I'm gonna put that for, well, we're having chicken on Monday, so I'm gonna put it down for Thursday. Rice, chicken, and then I really love broccoli with that combination, so I'm gonna come up on my grocery list and write down broccoli. Rice, chicken, and broccoli. I have seasonings here for those types of dishes already, so I won't need to add any of those to the grocery list. So that's 1, 2, 3 nights of dinner prepared on my grocery list. And the only thing I've had to add so far is sour cream and broccoli because I have a little frozen chicken already. So you see the point. We're just gonna try to go through and use up all the things that we have in our refrigerator first, our pantry, our kitchen working pantry second, and then start pulling from other parts of the preparations that I have. Like, oh, I do have some canned goods. Oh, I do have some frozen things. But if I make sure I cover the things that are in my working kitchen pantry and my fridge first, there's far less waste, and then our family's able to use up the things that we need to use up. I hope this helps you think about ways that you can also reduce the food waste coming out of your home so that you can reduce your grocery budget and help keep your food costs on track.